I have to shake off the rust.
All right, partner. Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is. Put your hands up.
It's the Basil Breen Boombox, and we are back for our first episode in a very long time. Once again, with the master of the box, Mr. Adam Kelly, Mr. Smithfield. We have his nice picture up here. We're really stepping it up. And I've tried to get the podcast going many times, but now is the time because we have a good, reputable guest who actually showed up today, which was great.
Well, hey.
Shots fired. No, I know it's not anyone's fault usually, you know what I mean? But it's just hard when you have to deal with the external reality of guests.
I think we need to just put some context to Master of the Box, by the way, because that could turn out really, really awful.
Yeah, don't ask his girlfriend. No,
well, maybe she.
Maybe.
Well, when Basil says Master of the Box, he means the cajon, which is like a Spanish percussion box, and I play that a little bit. But
it's not what you think.
You dirty-minded folk.
This isn't the
That's also
couch.
true, but it's not what we're talking about.
There's many ways to be the master, but yeah, he's been. God, I don't know how. Joe, it's funny. It was about 2 years ago since we did a podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking that on the way over. 2 years. A lot has happened in 2 years.
So much time passes, and then you're just like, what? How was that? And then I started doing the calculations. I was like, oh my God, because it's been like. It was in January, so it'd be 2 years in January or February.
2 years in January,
February.
Wow,
I think so. Your time, you must have a strange view of time.
because it was around the time of the Sinead gig for you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
My first
big
gig.
boy gig, yeah.
Oh God! And then everything that's unfolded since then.
It all went downhill from there. Man.
Yeah. And now we're picking it back up again. But no, it's so what I guess where do we even begin? Because you've been the last time we did the podcast, you were still in the jar.
Was it still in the jar? Yeah,
I think you were still in the jar.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
So what's happened with your travelling circus since the jar?
The travelling circus is continually travelling. But lucky enough, for the past 12 to 18 months, we've been with the same company. We've been with Body Tonic.
Oh, that's good.
And we were based in the Bernard Shaw for a long time, and then we've been doing gigs in the back page. Currently we're going to be in Board on Clonbassel Street. It used to be a non-alcoholic bar, but now they've just introduced some alcohol onto the taps and into the menu.
Oh, interesting.
We'll be there till the end of this year, and then coming up to 2025 we shall either be in the back page or the Bernard Shaw, but we'll definitely still be within the Body Tonic crew.
Okay, so
we're just figuring out where the best home is for us, because some venues work with different places, and some have a bit more character, some have a bit more. So we're just trying to find the best place that will suit everybody.
Yes.
Suit the venue, suit ourselves, and more importantly, suit the performers on stage. Because sometimes it's great to have a quiet room where there's no bleeding in, but then again, that quiet room kind of takes all the energy out of the room. So you kind of want to have a mix of a bit of energy, a bit of crack in the room, but also enough respect for the performers where they get to be heard and listen. So it's all about giving those performers the best place where they can perform and be comfortable performing, and also have a good energy for those in the crowd where they don't feel like they have to be quiet and walking on eggshells, where they can actually sit next to someone during someone's set and go, wow, they're really good, and talk about it while there's a performance going on. Because if you just keep to the breaks, you might not have enough time to chat to everybody you want to need, because we want to bring people together, whether it be creatives, musicians, or even just the general public, and going, hey, look, where can we find your next gig, or what are you doing next? We're trying to encourage more members of the general public to come down and enjoy the shows, because so at the moment we're going to try ask maybe each person who's booked in to bring one or two friends to come down. If you bring two friends, the next act will bring two friends, and that way and you don't have to they're all free nights, you don't have to pay any money, but we want to give the best opportunity to play to as many people as possible. Of course. And then if everybody brings their friend down, it's good for the venue, it's good for the arts, it's good for the artists and stuff like that. And we kind of promote this kind of community spirit that we have going on at the moment, because we work very closely with a couple of the other open mics around Dublin, and we've actually have we have another one working at the moment.
Oh,
we have
Jesus.
it was the songwriting collective that
Yes.
we're doing every 2 weeks on a Wednesday, and that's currently in the 51 bar on Haddington Way, which is just off Bagot Street. And then we're going to be bringing back the Shaku Yard open mic, which will be on a Tuesday night up in Rat Mines. Hopefully we'll be doing that, launching in January, but it could be as early as the middle of December. But we're just waiting for confirmation on that one. But yeah, and we're flat out with the Thursday nights. We're booked out for the year, till the end of the year, which is fantastic. We got another couple of good acts coming in, some great bands, some great solo acts, some great poets, some great synthwave artists, like comedians. We even had a couple of magicians in the past.
Magicians?
Yeah, we had 1 or 2 magicians over the past year or two since the last time I was here, which is fantastic.
Oh, wow.
And we've had like dancers, some Indian dancers, we had some drag routines and stuff like that. Like, so it's literally catering for absolutely anybody and everybody at the moment. Also, like, we did a recent post on Instagram just showing how to get involved, how you want to sign up. So whether you want to sign up on the night for a 5-minute spot or book in for a 10-minute spot in advance, and then obviously we have our paid featured acts, and like we pay our featured act €50 every week for a 30-minute set. That 30-minute set is also getting recorded in full, and we put it up on our YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is starting to take off now a little bit.
Okay.
So we've only been recording the featured acts over the past month or two, and once we get that up, it's free for everybody to view, stuff like that, and it's great content for the artists to have and put in part of their like press kits and stuff like that.
100%.
And it's great just to see, like, because I'm learning about videoing and editing and stuff like that, and I just want like to promote as much of the artists as possible, like with through social medias, through like YouTube channels, and then trying to like get them gigs elsewhere. Like people are always asking me, "Oh, do you know anything going on?" It's like, "Oh, talk to this person, talk to that person. Like they might be able to sort you out with a gig, or they might be able to give you a spot." So we're always like passing acts around Dublin. Hopefully they think that they get seen and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Like,
yeah, because I remember one of the videos I think you edited was for. Who's that band? You know the one. It was a really cool video on Instagram that you did. They were doing a gig in the Bunker, I think it was at the time. Dove.
Don't mind that.
Don't mind that.
Don't mind that. One of my favourite group of lads. Like, they're absolutely incredible. They're an amazing band. So we've done a couple of gigs with Don't Mind That now. We had them at the Works Festival in 2024. We had them in the Lighthouse again in late 2023 or early 2024, and we also did what you're talking about, which is the sit down gigs. We did 2 of those, which are filmed live on a venue. One with Don't Mind That was done in the Bunker Studio on Talbot Street, and again it's like a 40-minute kind of intimate gig. Everybody's sitting down and around, and then the lads come out and play their song. And then we did another one with Orion in Little Whelan's as well. Both of those are on our Patreon.
That's cool.
On the full sets are on Patreon. I think we have like a couple of videos as well of 1 or 2 songs on YouTube. But if you would like to subscribe to our Patreon, please do, because some of our funding has been cut over the recent months. So any kind of help that you can get, because we've got so much planned coming up in the next year or two that we'd love to get going and we'd love to get cracking on. But funding is a bit low at the moment. But like
100%.
We're not going to charge you for any of the open mic nights. That's going to be a rule, as always has been a rule, because I don't think an open mic night is open if you have to pay into it. Like, I know we have some booked acts and we know we have the featured acts, and people say, "Oh, you could charge." It's like, no, defeats the whole purpose. Because like we want to have it as accessible and as available as it can be.
1,000,000%. And it's a very difficult sort of line to walk, because it's so hard to keep the ship going. As in, because the reality is we're in an economic reality that requires funding for even just for petrol to your car,
to get here,
for equipment, and it can run you ragged and it can just eat away at your money. But what you get out of it is so beautiful. But again, it is. If you can support, if you can just pay $5 a month, even, you know what I mean, on the Patreon, and just let that go out of your bank account, it goes towards something that is bringing tremendous joy to people. And there's not many outlets like music. It's so beautiful and it gives you so much, but it's very expensive to pursue.
It can be very expensive to pursue.
Yes,
but we do it for the love of it. We're not
100%.
We're not doing it for the money or the clout or anything like that. Like, when I set up Smithfield Creatives, like I was a chef for 15 years, as I told you in the last podcast I was here, and I literally gave up everything, all my experience, and just said, I want to do this. I want to crack in, because I love music. I've been writing since I was a child, whether it be poems or songs or something like that, and I just wanted to get it out there and stuff like that, and let other people like get their like art and whatever they've been working on out. And it's so rewarding for me, like, because we discussed in the last podcast a lot of like mental health issues and stuff like that, and I still go through my ups and downs like anyone else, and I'm getting a lot better at dealing with them. But like running Smithfield Creatives is like the best antidepressant ever. Like just seeing, like, I could be in the absolute doldrums on like a Thursday morning going, oh, I don't want to do anything, and then if I get down to like the venue and then I get to meet all the people, see all the acts coming in, like the ones I've booked in, the new acts coming in, it's just like, oh man, and it's like, they're great, oh my god, have you checked them out? Like this week just gone, we did an amazing band on called Girl Boy. It was our first ever gig. They booked in for a 10-minute slot and they just blew everybody away. They opened up the night, and because of that, like, I sent on a video to Danny Kilmartin, who helps me out with, well, not helps me out, he's co-founder of The Works. I sent a video on to him and he was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, we're booking them in.
We have to get that in.
So they did their first ever gig. It was only 10 minutes, like, and I asked them, have you got a long set? It's like, yeah, we could play for about an hour. It's like, right, you're coming to the Works Festival in 2025.
Oh shit, they were that good.
Yeah, and speaking of the Works Festival, Basil,
we
have an absolutely Basil Breen Boombox exclusive
World
for you. World exclusive, live now on your screen device. So the Works Festival have booked in 2 dates for 2025.
2 dates?
2 dates, yeah. We're going to go on the 15th and the 16th of August.
Holy shit.
Tickets will be available soon. We'll do an early bird special, and but generally what the tickets are going to be, they're going to be €20 for a day ticket or €30 for the weekend ticket. You go home, you don't have to camp or anything like that.
Yeah.
We're going to start the days off a little bit later than we had done the previous 2 years. We might probably started off at like 2 or 3 p.m. rather than getting everybody in for midday, because like it was just a slow at the start, and it wasn't fair on the artists who like put in a lot of work, and then like there wasn't a lot of people there at the beginning. They were all coming down at the end of the night. So we decided, how can we fix this? All right, spread it over 2 days, start the days later, and then we have everybody down at the same time, and everybody gets a decent crowd to perform too, and amazing. Like, and Rascals are teaming up with us again to sponsor it out. So big shout out to Rascals. They've been helping us out since day one of the Works Festival. They're the brewery over in Inchicore, and they've got a great team there with Cathal and Joe and everything like that. Like, and they're more than happy to work with us again. The venue is the same, the CIE club as well. Like, so we'll be there. So we'll be doing it over 2 days. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So we got 2 acts booked in already. We got an amazing jazz funk band that are like incredible. They're called Chief Keegan. They're predominantly instrumental. They have 1 or 2 tracks with vocals on it, but like, if you've got a chance to check out Chief Keegan, please do. They're absolutely incredible. And then the second act we just booked in there the other day, which is Girl Boy. And we have a little question to ask you, Mr. Breen.
I wonder what that could be.
Could it be? Yeah. Would you like to perform at the Works Festival 2025?
Yes.
Yes, boy.
You've heard it here first. Get me on fucking at the Works Festival. What day? Do you know what day?
We're going to find it out. But do you have a preference? We can work this out after the podcast.
Any day is fine with me. I really appreciate that, and it's amazing because this will be is it the 3rd year?
3rd year, yeah.
3rd year doing a festival.
3rd year doing a festival, and we've so much fun doing it. Like, so myself and Danny is a fantastic guy. Like, at the moment he writes for a lot of cultural magazines like Headspace and stuff like that. But he's currently on RTE Radio 1 doing album reviews. He had his first show there only this week, so you can go onto the RTE player and check out Danny talking about Father John Misty's albums and a few other stuff
cool.
he's got a great head for music. He knows his stuff. So like, we're always delighted to have Danny on board. And then my partner Grace Kelly, who's works with First Fortnight, she's like their general manager. She's come on the board helping us out with a bit of the admin and stuff like that.
Brilliant.
Like, so we've got a good team behind us this year for 2025. I'm really looking forward to doing a 2-day festival this year. And
2 days.
We've got a couple of surprises lined up as well that we're going to keep quiet for now, but we'll trickle out the feeders now in the next couple of weeks, couple of months coming up. But tickets will be on sale within the new year. Like, and then of course we'll have our launch party back in Rascals as well, like we do. And then we'll be kicking it off great, like in the middle of summer, like 15th and 16th of August.
Wow.
So yeah, really looking forward to that.
It's so interesting because it's just the evolution. As the longer you stay on the path, like people don't realize, like, if it's all about just pursuing something for long periods of time and seeing the growth and sort of iterations on top of what you're doing. Every step forward is based on the previous step.
Exactly.
And it's just like now you've done. This is your third year, and now you're applying all the knowledge you've learned.
That's exactly it. Because like the first year, like we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. Like we just said, all right, we need a venue and we need acts.
Yeah.
So like it can't be that hard. But then we figured out, okay, there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot over the past 2 years of what works, what doesn't work, and like how to market it, like what sort of budget is needed for it, and how much we can invest in it. So like we've reached around, and we're trying to get a lot of funding as well from different arts councils and Dublin City Council, and big thanks again to Rascals. They're going to help us support it as well. Like they've been a tremendous help like throughout the 3 years, and we're fantastic to have them on board. Like, but yeah, we've learned a lot, and we're still going to learn how to do things. But like, yeah, and the great thing is like with what we're doing at Smithfield Creatives, like there is no end goal to like, there's no like, what we're going to do. Like there's always something going to happen. It's going to be something changing. Like we're as fickle as the weather, especially when it comes to our venues. Like I think we've hit about 6 or 7, maybe even more venues over the 3 years, but we constantly keep doing it. We'll be there every single week, even if we have to go back to Smithfield Square and do it in the outside. We'll put a show on every week, no matter what, and we love doing it. Like
100%.
It's amazing. Like,
and it's just beautiful because let's say when we look ahead, let's say we see people in their 40s, 50s, and let's say in the circles that you be in, you're like, oh look, they look like they have their shit together, they know everything. But there was a point where they were just Adam Kelly saying, we've never done a festival before, let's see what happens. And to become the person, you need to step into the arena, you need to play the game. Because if you don't actually just say, like if you just sat at the sidelines and kept, if you had said, okay, this year we're going to do a festival, then you'd be 2 years behind on your learning. And just by saying, even if it didn't work out at all the first time, it's like, we know so much more now.
Exactly. Like for instance, like the first 2 years of the festival, like we made like a big loss financially in both years, but we were still putting it on because the festival is what we wanted to get out. We wanted to give a platform for all these artists, especially the ones that have came through Smithfield Creatives or other open mics around the scene. We wanted them to make sure they got paid for a festival gig as well, because like a lot of festivals unfortunately still do the whole like, oh, this is for exposure.
Yes.
And I hate that. Like I hate that. Like for me, if you play for me in Smithfield Creatives, if you're playing more than 20 minutes, I'm going to get you paid. It might not be a lot of money, but you're going to get something in your pocket at the end of the day. Like I think our lowest tier for the Works Festival is like a minimum of €100 for each artist. So like no matter what, this year like just gone with 29 acts over 3 stages, and like everybody got paid at some level.
Like I couldn't believe when I got paid £100 the last gig, because I was like, what the hell? Like I even ran my own gig and I didn't get as much. And I'm not like, that's no like throw at whoever ran that gig, but it just goes to show that getting paid as a musician is very difficult.
It is. It's quite hard. Like, but we're trying our best. Like, and there's other places out there. There's other crowds that are getting people paid now as well. Like the likes of Dublin's Finest, they pay all their acts. I think the guys in Risings and Tides, they also pay their acts as well. Like, there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work out 100%. There. Like, so we're not the only ones. And I'm not trying to say that or anything like that. But I'm just saying it's part of like an incentive for us to keep going. It's trying to get help people along their journey, like at whatever stage they're at, like because we see a lot of people coming in signing up on the night for 5-minute slots, and then like they move their way up to the 10-minute slot, and then like they're absolutely incredible, and then by the time they're coming around to a featured slot, like they're already doing gigs themselves. So I love that. Like, just like getting them a place like where they come out of their shell and like they start performing, whether it's a poem or a song they've written or a dance, and then like getting comfortable, and then like they grow out of the open mic and start doing their own gigs. So like every 6 to 8 months in the open mic, like there's like a generational change, which can be off-putting at times, because like there'd just be a lull in attendance and sign-ups during that generational change. And I'm always going, oh, what are we doing wrong? And then I kind of look back, it's like, oh, wait, this generation just got good enough to start doing their own gigs. So the next generation have to have time to come into it. So, like, that's amazing that, like, it happens like that. Like,
it's so organic.
Yeah, it's so organic. And, like, it's great to see people thriving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's amazing. So, like, I wish everybody that has come through, like, Smithfield Creatives all the best in their journeys. Like,
100%.
some people are doing fantastic things. Some people have maybe taken a step back from music and stuff like that, but it's always great to see that you came down, you gave it a shot. If you enjoyed it, you stick at it, and then you keep going. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah, it's just so powerful, because I even remember it was just after COVID, and I seen all these videos being posted on Instagram. I don't know where you were. I seen Niamh Murphy. She's kind of probably taking a step back now. I'm not really sure.
She's got a new project at the moment. It's an Irish word beginning with C. I should have looked this up.
Yes.
But we're hoping to book them in for a featured act in January.
No way.
Yeah. So they reached out to us as well. So I was making sure we have like a venue confirmed and secured before I started booking the acts for 2025, but we should be doing that in the next few weeks. And there's definitely a few people I want as a featured act, like Rachel Lally is number one on the list. Anderson is also high on the list for a featured act, and then of course Niamh Murphy's new project. Anderson's not a new one. He's
I'm just out of the game.
Yeah, like. He's like he's new to Smithfield Creatives in the recent month, but like a few years ago he had a huge success with like his first album and stuff like that, and he's just released his second album, and he did a album launch there in the Workman's Cellar, and it went very well. Wow. He's played a gig last night, I think, with Damien Dempsey and Finbar's.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. So like, and he's a lovely guy as well. Like, and it was mad, like, cause like he was messaging me on Instagram, where most people do. If you want to message Smithfield Creatives, please do it through Instagram. I check that a lot more than the emails. Because I'm a millennial.
Do you look like an email guy?
Do I look like an email guy? Exactly, Basil. Like, I'm very laid back. And like, I work mainly from my phone and being out in public and chatting to people. But yeah, I understand. Like he texted me, like, and he came up, his name was like, oh, this is Daniel, blah, 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 like, performing at the gig. I was like, cool. And we were down in the Bernard Shaw in the racket space, and he was playing a song, and I was like, oh man, he's really good. He reminds me of someone. I was thinking like, oh, the Devendra Banhart, the Bob Dylan, and then like I jump up, like sometimes I do, like jump up on percussion and help them out, do a bit. Like, and I was there playing away, and I was like, oh man, I know exactly who you were. You're Anderson. Like, I have you on like an Irish playlist that I made like 5-6 years ago, like goodness. A song called Cecilia's Sister. And I was like, man, are you? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh man, like I love you, like so I got starstruck while like playing along with him. Like,
you just realised he's the guy.
Halfway through the set, like I was like, shit, that's the guy. Like,
wow.
So I was
chuffed. Mental.
And so he's been coming down a couple of times. I think he's booked in maybe not this week, but next week for a 10-minute slot as well. Okay. So I definitely think it's December 5th. He's coming down for that. But yeah, like incredible act, and we're looking for acts for the works as well. So if any acts out there are interested in playing a local grassroots festival, we'll take in any application. So if you're looking, we won't have an application form, but if you have an electronic press kit or an EPK for as the cool kids call it, or even just a load of images and links or a link tree, send it on to the worksfestival@gmail.com. We'll have a look of it. We also have our list of acts. Myself and Danny have written like.
Danny's an email guy.
Yeah, Danny's an email guy. Yeah. There's a funny story about that. I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay,
But so we have lists of acts that we want, and like the dream headliners and stuff like that. But we whittle it down and see what's going on. So please, if you're interested in playing the Works Festival, a grassroots festival, please come down and send us on your bits, and we'll have a look and do our best to get you on.
100%. And it's all about, like you were saying previous with the way you were saying, with the Smithfield Creatives line, it'd be good if everybody could try and bring someone down as well, just because it feeds the entire enterprise. And it's like with the Works Festival, the same thing.
And it feeds the energy in the room, because like if there's a bit of a buzz, a bit of a murmur going around on the night, like people like, oh yeah, and like people love playing to bigger crowds. It gives them that extra bit of adrenaline and a bit of to it, like, especially if the crowd are like in good form and having a bit of crack, you know, like, and a couple of drinks going. I don't drink myself, but I know what it's like to be drunk.
I remember.
But yeah, like it's a good buzz. Like so, like if you bring a friend, they're like, I know people can't get off Thursday nights and stuff like that, and like we don't expect people to stay out till like 11, half 11 each night. So like we do suggest that if you perform to stay till the end of the night, because the way we've structured the night, we do give priority to the pre-booked slots in the first part of the show, and we do get a couple of the 5-minute slots in the first half of the show, but then the rest of them are mainly in the third section. But that's where you find the hidden gems. We found so many great acts coming in on the 5-minute slots, and like they might only be playing to about 15 people at the end of the night or something like that, but like stick around to the end.
I know.
Like, there is a great like opera singer, Michael Costello, who's absolutely incredible, like unreal stuff. And then we had some amazing poets coming down as well. Don Byrne's an incredible poet coming onto the scene, and he's hilarious. His timing, his delivery, his stage presence is so good. Like he's going to be part of the next generation of poets, because we've had like the generation of poets where like we had like the Emma O'Briens, like the Jeff, the poet Jeff, and then you have like the likes of Heavy Kevy, Jimbo Dillon, and then the Vagabond Queen, there's so Annie Peter and stuff like that. They've all come in through the open mics, and they're all off doing their own gigs, even running their own nights and events and stuff like that. So like, we have the next generation of poets coming up as well, which is fantastic to see. So I love that kind of thing. And the same with musicians, like all the other musicians are coming out and they're doing their own gigs, like Left Iris, who we had at the Works Festival. They do a night now where they have it like where they pick an artist or something like that. They had a Bowie night where everybody picks one Bowie cover, and then like they play that, but they also play 2 or 3 of their own bits as well. Like I think last night they did a Gorillaz night, which would have been cool.
So they pick an artist.
They pick an artist, so like everybody does like a cover of that artist.
That's so good.
And their own song. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And that's in the International Bar.
Alright, hold on. Someone's at my door. Well, cut this out. Alright, we're back. This isn't a political podcast, so I had to send that canvasser on their way. But I think we were just talking about the generational changes, the generational poet. You're just kind of bearing witness to these like waves of artists.
Yeah, like the talent in Dublin, and not just because we're getting acts from all over Ireland at the moment. Like we're getting people travelling. We've got a poet that comes down every couple of weeks. He's coming from Mayo all the way over. We got like lads. We got some cool hip hop lads coming down from the likes of Drogheda and Dundalk and stuff like that. We've got people coming up from Wexford, Kerry, and everything. We had some international acts coming over for featured acts. We had like a great band, Hyler, came down from Iceland. We had Rob Clamp coming over from the UK. We also had Satin Beige coming over from the UK. We had a couple of guys from France come over, some German acts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people like, and even some punters have come down just because they've heard us on a podcast, or they've seen us online, and or they just checked it out.
Heard about you.
So
what's
like,
Smithfield Creatives about?
Yeah. So like it's great. We're getting like a lot of international attention, and not just from the local scene of Smithfield itself. Like,
well, 100%. Like it's hard to see probably when you're in the bubble, but outside, it's like there's not many sort of institutions that are like open mics or artists and like just for artists to perform at. And the fact that you're the guy at Smithfield Creatives, but like you're inside it. So outside it has a different lore. It has a different sort of.
I've no idea what the word in the street is.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like I try not to listen to it. I did listen to it a while ago, and it does make you depressed and paranoid. Because you think, oh, what are people saying about it? Is it good? Is it bad? And then like, especially when there's a quiet lull, like and like I find it difficult to not take a slight bit personally. Like, do people not like me?
It's okay to want it to do good.
Yeah, but like the word in the street apparently is that people like it, and like the nights are getting busier and busier, which is always good. And yeah, we've got a couple of. We will have 3 open mics come January.
We will have 3 open mics.
We have 2 at the moment, but we will definitely have 3 come January.
Wow.
And the other open mic is like a songwriting collective, which is predominantly based on singer-songwriters. Not so much poetry, but we do accept poets if they want to come down and do it. But it is predominantly singer-songwriter, and it's great because like it's done with IMRO as well, because they had the songwriting workshop in IMRO, and it was kind of an open mic that spanned from that. But the guys running it, Colin and Rob, they kind of asked me to come involved. Sure, you know Rob, he produced your first album.
Rob.
Yeah, he's a great guy actually.
Brilliant guy.
And he does a lot of work for artist development and stuff like that. If you ever get a chance to meet Rob McLeod, if he's talking to you, you're doing something good. Yeah. But he does be down at the open mic nights in Baggot Street, like, and they're great, like, and they asked me to get involved to bring in like a new generation of artists, like just not necessarily younger generation, but a new generation, because it was the same kind of 15 people rolling over each week, but like it was kind of not getting stagnant, but like they just wanted a bit of new life to it. And so they brought myself in and Rob in, and we've kind of given it a little new lease of life, and that's going really well as well. And that's every second week rather than every week. So, and that's, you can book into that through Meetup, or you can go onto the Smithfield Creatives Songwriting Collective Instagram page and book in through there. And you get 2 songs each. Like, there's no featured act, no 5 minutes act. We might think about changing the structure of that soon. We might give like 3 20-minute slots and stuff like that, and then have it out. We are going to work on that, but it's definitely
it's interesting.
It's definitely something that's really going.
Because I guess like with the Smithfield now, it's like you landed on the 10-minute slots and the feature slot. Like that wasn't immediately what you went to first.
No, sure. Like when I started off, I hadn't a clue what I was doing.
That's what, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I remember Luke Clerkin and Emma O'Brien. Like, this is back when we were in the Barber's Bar, and they're like, "Oh, you should do featured acts." And I didn't know what they were talking about. And I had like acts booked in for like 10-minute slot, and then on the Instagram I was like, "Oh yeah," and featuring Emma O'Brien and Luke Clerkin. I didn't know that a featured act was like an extended limit. You know, I just thought like, "Oh, we've got a big name. This is going to draw people." Like, and featuring Emma O'Brien or featuring Luke Clerkin, and I didn't have a clue, and that kind of went down. And then it was like I went to the circle sessions and saw what a featured act was. It's like, okay, now I get it.
I get the concept.
And then, because we were only doing the booked in slots, the 10-minute booked in slots initially, and there was no sign up on the night kind of thing. And then it felt like I was excluding people. So I was like, all right, I don't want to exclude anybody. I want to kind of make it free for anyone to come down on the night. Also to have the people that had booked in before that could do the 10 minutes, and then the featured act. And I wanted to make sure that the featured acts were getting paid, because like there's a lot of work that goes into a half an hour set.
100%.
Even if it is
their whole life.
Even if it is like an open mic, like there's a lot of work that goes involved, whether it's be like writing the poetry, performing, like your stage presence, like if you have a band or anything like that, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I'd love to get people paid for doing that work. So we pay our featured act every week, regardless of my financial situation. But it always goes out and gets it, like, which is great. But we're absolutely loving it at the moment. We're also linked up with the Hendrick Hotel in Smithfield, because we had to do something in Smithfield. We have to do something within the name, like. So first Friday of every month we're doing gigs in the Hendrick Hotel. Next month, December 6th, we've got an incredible lineup. We have Captain Relapse. A former band of mine where I used to play drums with them for a short while before I got too busy. We also have Runway Light, an incredible band. Like they're from Blanche. We also have a new band on the scene, and these lads, like, oh my god, Dopamine. They're only 17, 18 kind of lads, like only kind of coming out of school at the moment, and they're gonna like revitalize rock and roll. I think they are the bee's knees, man. Like, they are class. Like, so we got 3 savage acts lined up for December 6th, and the best thing is it's a pay what you want kind of gig. We're not going to put a ticket price on it. It's because like we want it to make it accessible to everybody. So like if you have money, come down, throw it in the hat. If you don't, that's grand. Like, we just want you to come down and see the acts and support them. And if you don't want to pay, just make sure you take stories and stuff like that, tag the guys, because like that does a lot, like just sharing and tagging, and like it helps acts like boost the algorithm and stuff like that.
100%.
But like it's all about that. Like, so we're bringing them down, and it's again pay what you want, like, and then all the money gets split evenly. Like, Smithfield Creatives will take 20%, and then the other bands, the 3 bands that are on the night, the 3 acts on the night, they'll get 26.6%, whatever a third of the 80% is, you know, and that gets split even between 3 acts, and that's what we try to do all the time. So yeah, it's absolutely incredible, like that we've got so much going on. And then
and I appreciate just on this point of, if everybody made a little bit of noise in relation to these events, at the events, like, and then people bringing on their friends, because even the last Smithfield I was at, I brought a girl for a day, and basically she'd never been exposed to a night. This is the first time at any open mic, and then the first time I went to an open mic was the first time I went to the open mic in my late adult life.
The first time I did Smithfield Creatives out in the square was the first time I did an open mic or went to one. Like I was not involved in it at all. Like as I said, like I was a chef for years, so I didn't have the luxury of like going out in the evenings or the weekends. And like it's great. There's like a huge untapped like market there
100%.
for like art.
Yes.
Like and like real original art coming from like your friends and your locals.
Like it's like literally art that's like because art is like a response to sort of the times and the current point in history.
When you're a baby, like before you learn how to talk, you're singing. Before you learn how to walk, you're dancing until like you're told not to do that. So like art is like in us from
100%.
like from the moment we're like popped out of the womb, let's say, and like it's not back in, let's say, like pre sort of modern history or whatever. Like it would have taken center stage, as in the art and the music and the chanting and the story and everything that would have been center stage. Yeah. But now it's actually just economics and status and do you have a mortgage? Like, so which nobody has now.
That's what I'm saying. There's something in our hearts and in our spirits that is trying to sort of be pulled back into this, and you're doing your part. But if you can just, as musicians and artists that are performing these nights, if you can just try expose a friend or someone else, even through your Instagram story, urged by bringing them along, that's it. You're exposing more people.
We love playing to other artists and stuff like that. Like it's fantastic, but like other artists, they're like we want the general population to see what's going on, because there's such a plethora of talent like around the scene at the moment. Like I still get amazed by like some of the acts coming in. It's like, where have you been? Why aren't you huge? Like,
what's going on?
Like exactly, and it's just down to like again, like people don't know about open mics and like the level of talent at the open mics. Like people can probably think, oh, it's an open mic, a guy that has 3 chords, a guitar,
doing
karaoke versions or like a terrible cover or something like that. But no, these are some amazing acts with like incredible original art. Like the poetry is next to none. Like I think the poetry scene in Dublin, like the spoken word scene, because it's kind of like a mix of poetry and spoken word, and like the way like in Dublin, like the delivery and like some of these poets have is incredible. It's something I'd never seen before. Like, which is amazing. Like, and some of the poets are doing fantastic stuff, like going international and stuff like that, which is great to see. Like, but like really love everything about it. Like,
and it's just about trying to keep you're trying to keep the flame alive, I guess. And you're talking about all of these nights, and it's just like, when would it like? Does it ever be like, fuck, I can't do this?
Yeah, well, I've noticed that not so much the work has gone down, but I noticed that I've not been as social with my own friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like I'm either busy at a night or doing a night, and then like when the friends are doing something, it's like, oh man, I'm just wrecked. I might just cancel. Like I won't be out tonight because I just need to catch up and sleep. And like I found that like I was like, oh man, I don't really have that many friends anymore. And it's like, oh, then it's just like, oh yeah, because you keep cancelling and meeting them because you're too tired or else you're too busy. So like, as much as I am doing a lot, like I need to start working on the balance of life, which I'm trying to knuckle down now. Like, but I'm getting better at it, I think. But it's always imperfect.
I think you can probably take for granted that because you're doing all these events, you're meeting lots of people there. So it's like I'm seeing lots of people all the time.
Like, and your social battery just runs out because
of course,
because you're meeting so many people, you're constantly talking,
you can
and
only
like
give so much.
That's it. And then by the time you actually want to socialize with your friends and family, you're just like, actually, you know, I just want to lie in bed and watch Netflix, you know, reruns of The Office and stuff like that.
Just to unwind, but that is the balance, and it's the balance with, I guess, like I'm finding it hard because I started full-time work and trying to pursue music, and then trying to pursue rekindle my romantic relationships and everything. It's like you can only actually do so much, and you have to kind of, obviously it's good to recognise, okay, I'm lacking in this area, so there's misbalance, but if you are pushing, it's like you have to kind of say, okay, I am giving myself a bit of a break though.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure everybody hears this. Make sure you allocate time for rest.
Yes.
Like, check your calendar and go, all right, I've got all this on, but where is my rest time? And if there's something that's not as important, take that off your calendar and put in a rest day, because
100%.
they are the most important things, is to take a rest, because like so many people are burning out, whether it's with their full-time job, with their artist career, with like social situations. Everybody has something going on at home that they're not willing to talk about. Some do talk about it, but just please make sure you get a rest day in.
Yes.
Even if it is just to stay in bed all day, order like a takeaway or something like that. Get the rest, because that's so important for your mental health and your stability
and your
longevity.
Like if you burn yourself out, you won't be able to do it over time. So you have to say, what is the most sustainable strategy for doing it over time? And one thing I just do is I just listen to my body. I know when I have a day where it's like, oh, I can't do anything. I actually have to just lie down and watch something, because the idea of stuff hurts me, basically. But then the other, when I wake up, when I have that energy, it's different when I have it then. I'm so I can recognize now after years of ups and downs that it's, and then I used to give myself such a hard time.
That's the thing. Like,
I'm sitting here and I'm not making Instagram videos.
But think about it, like, when you're resting, you are being productive.
Yes.
You are being productive, because you're giving yourself the rest to like recharge your whole body and mind to be able to do what you can at your full potential again. So like, I used to give myself a hard time, like, oh, I'm not doing it and I didn't get out of the house today. It's like, well, actually no, what you did do today, you rested, you recharged, you got yourself back together, and then the next day, or maybe it might take 2 days, 3 days, like, but make sure you try get 1 day in a week. That's what I try. I don't stick to that. I'd like to do that, but but it's fantastic though. Yeah.
So that's your way of trying to, like, will you schedule time off, or will it just happen?
I try to take Sundays off and do nothing.
Yes.
But then I might pick up a gig, or someone might want to rent a PA system off me, or I might have rehearsals. Or
you're at the whim of it.
Yeah. Because, but like, I try not to let people down. Like, I have something booked, I'll do it.
Yes.
But like, if there's a rest day, but I'm a man for naps as well. If I've got something on in the morning and then a gig at the night, somewhere in the mid-afternoon, I'm going to bed for an hour, you know, and I've got those power naps down. It's power naps that are 20 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes, not in between, because 20 minutes is a good power nap. An hour and 20 minutes is one sleep cycle. So I if I can't fit them in the middle.
Can you actually shut off consciously? Like, do you like?
I can, because I'm constantly going. So once I stop, I'm like,
that's interesting. I always find it like I can nap, but it takes me even when I sleep in general, it just takes me a long time to actually shut off. So I'm trying to get better at that with meditation, the likes. But it just in terms of...
That's it. When you have anxiety and stuff like that, like your brain just be rolling and rolling and rolling. For years and years I had trouble sleeping and stuff like that, like with insomnia, and then just not getting any sleep, especially when I was working in kitchens and stuff like that. And then even like at the beginning of Smithfield Creatives, I wasn't sleeping or getting the right amount of sleep. But recently, like I say, in the past 6 months to a year, whatever clicked, whatever, something in my head was like, okay, you're doing this, and I'm getting into bed and go, right, I've done a day. And I'm not going to think about anything until I wake up tomorrow. You know, the kind of way, I'm not going to try solve this problem. I'm not going to try work on this. I'm actually in bed now. I'm going to sleep. And then I might watch like a podcast or something, or a show, and then like fall asleep, and that's it. So the thing in my head is like, right, you're not doing anything. Like, come 11 o'clock at night, I'm not answering any messages. I'm not doing anything like that. Like, I'm just, right, that's it. Like, I can see messages coming in, like, oh, can I have a slot? Like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to tackle that in the morning. And that kind of makes me a bit more relaxed when I'm going to sleep at night, you know?
I messed up last night because, like, once I get an idea in my head, like, so I'm doing like these live streams, but I was looking for a limiter pedal, like a pedal that basically, well, it's like a brick wall limiter, but it's very hard to find a limiter pedal. Like, I went so hard, and then I'm looking on Tommen, and I'm just going everywhere, and I'm checking Reddit, and I'm just like, it's like 11:30, and I know this is a mistake. I'm like, this is such a mistake. I should have stopped. Like, this is not important. Like,
it doesn't need to be solved right now.
And it's so hard for me to. I am better at it these days, but because it was so recent. I need an unwind period, you know what I mean? Like an actual hour or something. If I go from like work mode to bed, I'm just still in work mode, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's like the balance. But I think with all the like, I guess you gave up alcohol.
Yes. Since the last time I was on this podcast.
Since the last time you were on. And how long have you been off it now?
It was May 2023. So what we on now? May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, 18 months.
Okay, so let's just start with what was the initial decision? Like, why was the initial decision made?
Well, I was drinking far too much. I was an alcoholic for years. In denial for many of those years, and I tried quitting over a number of times. And then I was at a gig in Whelan's that Luke Clerkin was playing, and then I was hanging around afterwards, and you know, Ned Dunn, the poet, absolutely incredible writer.
Yes,
I fucking love
his
stuff.
Good.
Love his
stuff. He's such
an
old soul.
He's such an old soul. He's such a kind
he's so
soul.
Young, and it's like,
He's got like the most beautiful, sincere heart there ever was, and his writing just it takes you back. He can literally, his imagery in the writing, it just takes you back to like a bygone era. And it's so amazing. Like, but he came to me and he's like, "Oh, you're having a pint afterwards?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know me, I'll have a pint afterwards." And he's like, "All right." So I met him up in the smoking area in Whelan's then afterwards. And he's like, "Right, you've asked me a couple of times, Adam, to like send you home if you're having a few pints because you got stuff on in the morning. And I tried to do it, but you're like, oh, no, I'll stay out and have the one or two." And he's like, "Oh, I've known alcoholics in the past, like," and he's kind of like, you're kind of going down that slope. He's like, "This is the last night you're drinking." He's like, "We're going to get absolutely locked, and then tomorrow we're going to start off again." So we went, we had a good few pints in Whelan's. We cried together. We've talked about like what we wanted out of life and stuff like that. And then the next day I woke up and he texted me. He's like, "So were you serious last night?" And like, because he texted me straight away in the morning, I was like, "Yeah, I am." And then he booked me into an AA meeting as well, and he was going to contact my GP as well, just and stuff like that. And then I went to one AA meeting around Mountjoy, and I went in and like I saw people at different levels of their journey and stuff like that. But the one thing that stuck with me, that it's such a simple thing and it might not work for everybody, but it's like, don't have the first one. Just don't have the first one, like, and that was it. Like, and I was like, wow, because I was thinking, oh, I'll just have one or two. It was never one or two, you know. Once I had the one, I get the goo and I start drinking and drinking. But yeah, just don't have the first one, and that stuck with me. And then and then if I was thinking about having that first one, thankfully now there's like the likes of Guinness Zero and all the other non-alcoholic drinks, and that has been a savior as well. Because I'm in pubs and venues and stuff like that all the time, like it's hard to escape the alcohol culture. But like, because I'm in it, and like I drive to a lot of the gigs that I run myself, so I wouldn't be drinking during that. And so that was always like, I was on the waters anyway. So I was like, well, if I can do it at these gigs, why can't I do it all the other times? And if I just don't have that first one, and like, trust me, like, it's still every day you're like, oh, I'd love a pint. And I know myself when I say that, it's never like, oh, I'd love to have a beer with a friend. It's like, oh, I'd love the session. So I know I'm not ready to have that first pint yet still. And like, maybe I'll never be ready, but and like, who knows? Like, I don't know if I'll be sober or off the drink forever, or whether it's going to be for a couple of years. But at the moment, I've no interest in drinking for a couple of reasons. One, the hangovers are just too bad at the moment, too bad. And then you lose so much productivity time.
You lose days.
You lose days. Like, I spend like
it changes your trajectory in life.
Like you 2-3 days in bed hungover, like, and going, oh, and then you like, I let this person down because I was hungover, or I didn't get that done, or that, and it just snowballs and snowballs. And for me, it's been the best thing other than quitting the chefing in my life. Like, I've made a lot of decisions, because we did talk about a lot on the last podcast about my mental health journey of like going from like suicidal ideations to where I am now, and that journey, like, all the way through, like being in the wrong career, in the wrong relationships, my problems with alcohol and stuff like that, and like literally changed every single one of those. It's like, what are my triggers? What is bringing me down? Okay, what do I get joy from? So it's like, right, chefing's not for me. Get rid of that. What am I going to do? Fuck, I have no idea. I've like no leaving cert. I've got no college. I've got nothing. It's like, oh, you kind of like art and music. Okay, yeah, well, let's see what we can do there. And then Smithfield Creatives was born. And then I was in the wrong relationship. Lovely person, but we weren't always going to be together. So that kind of fizzled out and went away. And then, then after that was the alcohol. And like those three things kind of like really found who I am at the core. And like, I wasn't meant to be a big drinker, although I loved the session. Like, I loved just going around and just chatting to people and just random stories and like picking bits of people's brains. It's always something, but I can do that now sober.
Yes.
I don't have the same energy, and I'm not doing it at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing it.
It's not as random.
It's not as random. Yeah. But it's still great.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah. And like, I love the fact that like, I can jump in the car and get somewhere whenever I need, or someone needs a lift, or someone wants, or
you never compromise.
Yeah, like, I'm never in a situation where I can't help someone out. It's like, okay, yeah. With alcohol, it's like, I've had a few pints. You might ignore a phone call, or if you're, I can't pick you up. I'm drunk, or that kind of way. But now, like, I don't have any of that worry. That kind of way. It's more like, okay, if you need me, I can be there.
Yes, 100%. I think just that not having the first pint. I think the other one from like the AA, that sphere, is just, it's one day at a time. Literally, if you can just avoid doing something today, that's all you have to do. It's not like you have to do it forever, like the way you're saying now.
And there's been plenty of days, and even recently, like, where I've been sitting in pubs and I'll be like, oh, I'd love a pint.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd really want a pint. And I was like, no, man, no, because like in my head, it's like, no, I'm letting myself down because I've already gone 18 months, and I'm letting my friends and family down because like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, probably not by having one pint. But in my head, I'm like, yeah. And then I realized, like, no, I'll just grab a Guinness Zero or something like that. And then when I have that Guinness Zero, like, you have like, as Phil Kenny, a super poet, says, like, it's like 90% alcohol free and 10% nostalgia. That kind of way.
He's a beast.
And like, you do get that kind of placebo effect. And like, it's like, oh yeah, and you feel more integrated in the group as well, because like you've got like a similar looking drink or whatever like that, and you're not just like sitting there.
It's just that little slight release that you remember or something. It's like a pattern or like an energy that is associated with that sense of and that, like, alcohol it's a really good social lubricant, like, and it's good for loosening the lips and loosening the belt a bit, but as you're saying, it's just, it can...
So are copious amounts of tea, by the way.
My coffee, I switched habits, you know what I mean? But I remember for me, because I hadn't drank in a few years, but I was at the Works Festival and I had a pint of Guinness Zero after my set, and I had a sup, and then I necked a Guinness Zero, and I was like, oh my god, that was so nice. And if I actually was just thinking, I thought I was finished with alcohol, but that kind of made me feel like, oh, you'd love one. Like, if I imagine, what would happen if I was on holidays alone or something? Who knows?
I thought that as well. Like, I go, oh, maybe I could sneak out and just day drink on my own and say it to no one, that kind of way. Like, because I used to do that a lot. Like, I used to like just buzz into town at about 1 o'clock and just go into a pub and start day drinking, because I knew I'd sit next to someone at the bar that would have a story or something like that, and I didn't know where that adventure was going to take me, because like I didn't have like Smithfield Creatives in my life. I didn't have other things that were giving me that kind of like adrenaline, that buzz, and like that interaction that I was craving my whole life, which was like just to be part of something and to like help people out, and that kind of like just talking to people and like that's what I found. Like, a lot of my drinking came from a place of loneliness. Because like I was working like 12, 13-hour days, and then I was going home and resting and doing it all, and I was drinking just to talk to people, because like during a chef career, like your free time is everyone else's busy time, and your busy time is everyone else's free time.
It's weird.
So trying to get interacting with people, and so I was craving like just some sort of attention, someone to talk to. But now I have that through like running Smithfield Creatives. Like, I'm meeting people every week, every day, like, and like I don't need that social lubricant that is alcohol to get that anymore. So like I'm getting my fix of interactions through this, which is great. Like, you know,
you can see, like, I always, even when you send me audio messages, I can just tell you're very practiced at speaking. It sounds like, obviously, because you speak a lot. Like, you're at these events, you're talking, and I'm just like, how is he so funny and so well spoken in just this little audio message? And I'm just like, like, it's really paying off. And even now, just listening to you now, not that I can remember the last podcast, but I can imagine if you played it back now, you're just the spiel after spiel, you're just flowing. I guess for your own personal growth as a host, as a person, as a human being, like, since you've started, like, what if you could, it's hard to pinpoint, but for you, what has been your biggest sort of area of growth as a human being doing the Smithfield Creatives, I guess?
I say giving up the drink. Yeah, I'd say that's probably my biggest achievement. Was quitting the alcohol. I had friends in the past, like really, really close friends, some of my best friends, and I've tried to have talks with me about my drinking in the past. Family members, like not just, like my immediate family, like my mother and my father, and my brothers and stuff like that. And then like cousins. I remember I was at my sister's wedding a couple of years ago, and they went to my partner at the time. Keep an eye on this drinking, will you?
Oh, wow.
And they're going behind my back to my partners to say, yeah. And the fact that I did it, and I'm not going to say it wasn't hard or that it was very easy, but I did it at the right time for me. Like, I was in a good mental health space. Like, I knew where my drinking was causing problems. And then when Ned came to me that day, like, I was just in the right place at the right time to knock it on the head. Yeah. If he had came to me the day before or the day after, it might not never happened. So I got my life to thank Ned Dunn for. So, like, Ned Dunn, cheers, bro. Ned, you're an absolute legend.
That story itself, just that whole story sounds like a fucking, like a Pogue song or something.
And you know what? I reckon Ned and, you know Keenan Flannery?
No.
Oh, man, you gotta check out
Right, first of all, how do you remember everybody's name?
I don't. I honestly don't. There's people
I don't out myself, but online am I seeing, and I was just like, I hadn't seen him in ages. I was going to call him Luke. I was like, that's not his name. Don't say Luke to fucking this lad. And then I was just like, oh my God, it's so debilitating when you forget someone's name for a second.
Oh, man, I was playing a gig at the Sound House with Sean Finn there on Wednesday just gone, and this girl Nancy Kate, who I've gone to her gigs, and like she's played with other people. Like she goes, oh, how are you, Adam? How are you getting on? I was like, oh yeah, I knew her face, knew everything about her, and then like I was like, blanked on her name, but lucky enough she introduced herself to one of the lads in the band. I was like, yes, Nancy, yeah. And then you know when you finally remember the name, you get it, you're overusing it.
Yeah, it's always the way.
Like, oh, hi, Nancy. Yeah. But like, it happens so often where I forget people's names.
Do you ever have to just say, I actually forget your name?
Yeah.
And which is, I think that's understandable.
Yeah, like I have to
you recognise their face, you see them, and maybe you just don't remember them at all. And it's like, you know what? Like I meet so many people. Give yourself a break and just have to admit that I don't know this person's name.
There's no such thing as pride. Pride will get you nowhere.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. So if you're shortcoming on anything in life, just kind of put your hand up. Here, look. I don't know.
Yes.
You know, it's easier to say, look, I don't know, and be open about it than try to pretend it. And like, it'll just get more awkward and
it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I have a terrible, like, I'm the worst for this because people see, they see my big hair or something. They know, Basil or TK is what they call him in this town. But I met a girl it's a cartoon from Digimon was a cartoon.
I thought they were talking about the Red Lemonade or something like that.
Basically, right, this girl said to me, TK, how you getting on? She had a mask on. I was like, oh, who are you? And then she pulled down her mask. I was like, hello? And then I went, oh, no way! And I didn't say her name. And like, it was like, she was like, obviously you remember me. But she looked so different than who it was.
Yeah.
But I doubled down on that. And all I'm thinking is, I need to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
This is so much. Because I've committed then to knowing this person's name. Whereas if I had said, I'm actually so sorry, I really feel bad about this, but I don't remember your name.
Yeah, but that's it. I can just go, here, look, the way I used to say is that, here, look, I meet so many people every week, like, or at least introduced to so many people every week that I can't keep track of all the names. I just like, here, look, I'm sorry, like, people that come down to Smithfield Creatives on a regular basis, and I'm just like, sorry, just remind me of the name again while I'm writing it down, because, like, it's impossible, because, like, it's just too many names.
100%.
Too many names.
Yeah, so just going back to just on the alcohol for a little bit, because unfortunately both my parents were alcoholics. My mum was more severe than my dad, but my dad would just have a few cans basically, and I remember I was like 16, I was like a teenager, and I eventually had a go with him. You know what I mean? I was like, you're drinking, and this is a problem, and unfortunately, I feel like it messed up my relationship with my dad, as in, when he eventually got cancer, but when he told me he had cancer, he had to kind of say, and it's not because, like, it was like we were still in the argument phase and he had to make an excuse.
He was defending the alcohol.
And I was like, I didn't want to be in that situation. I just was like, I'm so sad that this is happening. I don't want this to be a thing, but I was too young to kind of resolve it in a way. And it's unfortunate when you have to kind of, I don't know, you say something, but then at least you were able to have the awareness. At some, maybe it had to happen a good few times.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you eventually got a message.
Yeah, look, I tried to stop drinking at least 10 times before I actually quit for this sustained period, like, and I never did more than 28 days before.
Yeah.
Like, I tried doing like the sober October and stuff like that, or the dry January, and never completed them. But yeah, like, there's been alcoholics in my family and friends and like a lot of people I've known. I'm sure many people do. Like, and like, it is like a disease. It is an addiction, 100%. And it's probably the worst one you can have. Like, it destroys more family than the likes of like opioids and stuff like that, because it's so prominent in culture.
It's so normalised,
so especially in Ireland.
Yeah.
But on the upside, I've read recently that Ireland's alcohol consumption has gone down by like 20% in the past 15 years, which is fantastic. Like, so we're getting our heads on our shoulders as a country, which is great. And the availability of non-alcoholic drinks is incredible. Like, speaking of non-alcoholic drinks, Board is a non-alcoholic bar which now has a little bit of alcohol, and we do our Smithfield Creatives there every Thursday till the end of the year.
Okay, you've heard it here first.
Or second or third time. We've mentioned it a few times.
I don't know, man. It's hard to keep up with what's going on.
Shameless plug, you know.
But it is, because it's like he's a bit of a like I know people that are drinking and they go in and out of the pub all the time. It's like, he's a bit of a character. You know what I mean? That's kind of the industry. Like, we don't really we don't say actually he's a severe alcoholic.
That's it. That's it. He's a character. Yeah. He loves to soap, that fella. Yeah, but he's all right. Yeah.
But every sort of negative sort of externality associated with what we don't want, like people dying in car crashes, people beating their children or wives or husbands, like everything goes up with alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's not like prohibition is not going to work, but it's just about being more sensible in that approach.
That's it. Like my own father was a bit of a drinker as well. Like, he wouldn't say he was an alcoholic, but the people around him and his offspring would have. But like, he got himself into a situation that like literally wound himself up in a hospital where he was practically paralysed, and that was all from alcohol. Like, and and that was around Christmas back in 1999, the year of the millennium. And so he went out for pints on Christmas Eve, and we didn't hear from him or from anyone about him until like 2 days after St. Stephen's Day, when we get a phone call from the Mater Hospital saying that he's like in a neck brace, can't move. And then like, but like, he got himself back up like through rehabilitation. He had quit drinking for a while, but got back on the drink. But like, situations that he found himself in, I've learned from. You know, the kind of way it's like, oh well, I don't want to fall down that way, because I know how much that affected me as a child, and how much it affected my family, my siblings, my mother and stuff like that, and my own father's outlook on life afterwards. And I just didn't want that worry on other people for me. You know, I didn't want them worrying about me, because like, I knew my drinking had got me to some situations that the normal people wouldn't find themselves in, like very like stupid situations like where you wouldn't be in. I won't go into specifics.
Yeah. We know. I think everyone can relate in some way. But there's levels to that game.
There's levels to that game, and I just didn't want that for my life or for my friends and family or the people close to me. So I think it was a good thing to give up the alcohol, and it's definitely changed my life for the better, without a doubt. If anybody's kind of like on the fence of giving up drinking, try it for a couple of weeks. If it suits you, keep going, do it a day at a time, and just I don't know. Like, I'm not going to tell people not to drink, because,
but
like,
if it's in their psyche, they're thinking about it.
If you think,
then it's maybe worth looking at.
That's it. And if you're thinking about it, you're already on the right track.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it for, say, about 10 years before I actually gave 100%. Up. So, like, I knew for a long time that it was a problem before I actually did something about it. So, like, if you're thinking about it, you're doing the right thing. Like, so
or that's what you're telling. It's a sign that maybe that's worth something looking at. Or worth looking at. And then I think what helped me was just because I was always waking up and saying I'm never drinking again, and then drinking. And then
drinking that day.
So and then I just said no. Actually, I'm going to listen to myself. And then I just told loads of people. So the more people I told, I felt the pressure then. That if I had a negated on that, So public declarations can help. And then, but I think I met. I think I met your mum at the Stony Batter Festival.
Yeah, my mum and dad were down at the Stony Batter Festival, the last couple of years. Yeah.
So,
I love doing the Stony Batter Festival. That's a great festival.
Cool one,
yeah. We'll be back down there again this year.
That band, that band.
Graceless,
Yeah, Jesus. There was loads of cool people down there, actually.
I can't remember the lineup now.
I remember, Joe. Her poetry set was so good at that.
Joe Black,
I
math
love
poet.
her so much.
She is they are an incredible artist.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible artist. Like they did a show for Fringe in the Pierce Library.
I've seen that.
And I went there and just like
the bits of
they had like this clothing rail up and like each item of clothing was a different piece, and it was just like they take the item of clothing, drop it down on the floor, deliver the piece, and had the whole moth costume going on. Like aesthetically, it was beautiful.
Cool.
The arms, like the lighting was amazing. The sound was amazing. Like the poetry was incredible. It was a show.
It was a show.
It wasn't a poetry.
It was like a Fringe show.
Yeah, it wasn't a poetry recital. It was a show, and it was very, very well done. Yeah, so check out Moth Poet if you want to check out more of that.
She has really cool YouTube videos as well.
Yeah. They're so good. So good.
Yeah, I'd love to get her on this eventually. But all that stuff, what when you were talking to I guess your mom and dad, when you're just telling them, I do this open mic night or whatever. what's their general? Because they see you out and about. They see all these characters. Because the other thing about this whole scene is that you meet so many the creators are the characters of the place of the country, and so you're a sort of a hornet's nest, for that kind of stuff, which is not a bad thing. But at the Vagabond King and Casey's wedding, I just remember just thinking, there's the zaniest characters here of all time. Like, this is where the cool kids are at for me. So for outsiders, like your mom and dad, they just see all these people come to Adam, blah, blah, blah. Maybe, I don't know what your experience is.
So when I first started doing it, it was just kind of a hobby kind of thing. Like, it was just something I did one night a week during lockdown. I was still working as a fishmonger at the time, which was a fantastic job. But it wasn't something I was going to continue for the rest of my life. I was I'm not going to be the best fishmonger in Dublin, so what's the end? What's the end goal here? I don't want to have my own fish shop. So I started doing Smithfield Creatives, and I had no plan for it. It was all completely organic. But I was going through a huge mental health dip, and I had to take some time off work because I just wasn't able to do it. So it eventually took it took 3 months off before eventually saying, "Here, look, I actually won't be back. I don't want to keep you leaving in the lurch this long. If I'm going to be here or not." And my parents are like, "Okay, so what are you going to do now? How are you going to earn money? What are you going to do next?" And I was like, "I've no idea. I've literally no idea." And they kept pushing me, "Oh, you should get a real job. You should get something. You need money coming in." It's look, I've got a bit of savings that I had from working as a chef. I can do something for a year or two and see how it goes. And I was like, "Look, give me a year doing this kind of open mic thing and see how I get on, and then maybe I'll go back to getting a real job." And they were like, "Okay, maybe, yeah." But then eventually when they came to one of the gigs we did in Shinay, and they go, "Oh yeah, this is all right. Okay, yeah, okay. You got a couple of people here. You got really good people around you, supportive people. Okay." So they saw that I had a good crowd around me, good friends around me and stuff like that. And then the likes of the Stony Batter Festival, they came down and they saw the level of talent at these acts and how I curated the night in a way, and then
and manage it in a way.
And manage it and stuff. And they go, "Oh," because I've always said when they were asking me, "What do you want to do when you're older?" I was "I want to be involved in music, but I've no real talent. I can't play a guitar, I can't sing. My drumming is the best average, that kind of way. So I was never going to make it as a musician kind of thing, but I always loved it and wanted to be involved somehow. But again, having no leaving cert or any background in it, I was they were "That's a pipe dream, Adam. That's a pipe dream. You're working in the arts, you're not going to do anything like that." But I'm still not making money from doing this.
You're in the arts.
Yeah, I'm losing more money than I'm making at this point. But I love it, and I couldn't go back to doing anything else.
Yes.
And I know one day, eventually, I might make a career out of it. But I just love it. We had our funding cut for the open mic night by 80%, so basically we just get enough funding to pay the featured act. So I'm literally making nothing off the open mics at the moment. Whatever money comes into me goes straight to paying the featured acts. So I had to come up with other ways of making money. So I do life modeling now, which is posing nude for artists when they're sketching and stuff like that.
How do you get into that? just didn't see that going. Like, what a curveball! What is going on there? Hold on. What? Tell me about this, Jesus.
So I work. Well, I model. Pose is I suppose the best word to do it, because I'm not modeling. I'm in a pose for a long time. So I do it for like 3 hours on a Wednesday from like 10 to 1, and I get a bit of cash for that. So I just do a pose, stackers on a podium, and then the art class are around and they're sketching me and stuff like that. Yeah.
What's that like?
It's cool because like it gives me a chance to work and do nothing at the same time. Because I'm there and I'm in a working capacity, but I have to be very still and very rigid because you can't move.
Yeah.
So you're there, but like they've got all these like busts of like heads and clay models and stuff like that at the top of the ceiling and stuff like that. So I just focus on one of those things and kind of like just meditate. Or I've actually written some poetry by doing it, because like you do it in 25-minute spells of a pose, and you take a 5-minute break, 25-minute spell. So when I'm there in the 25 minutes, my brain's going, I'm either meditating and switching off, or else my brain's going, okay, what can I get done today? What can I plan here? So it's a way of like organising my life as well. So it actually kind of works hand in hand with it. Like, so I do that. Like,
how did you get into this?
One of the guys in the creative scene put into like a WhatsApp group going, hey, anybody would like to do modelling? I'm going to be moving away. They're looking for a model. And I was like, just went out of the WhatsApp group, like, yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah, I need money, like basically. I need to pay my rent, and I need to put petrol in my car. And they're like, yeah.
And did you just feel I could do that?
Oh yeah, well, I'm very comfortable being naked. So
I mean, he did want to do this naked and fairness.
Yeah, but I keep my clothes for everybody else's comfort, not for my own, you know.
Interesting, because I think I'd be very self-conscious in that situation.
I think about it, like, they're art students. Like a lot of art is like, if you look at anything from the Renaissance, it's all naked bodies and stuff like that, and like it's just art, like it's the human form, like
of course that's the way, that's the proper way to look at it.
That's it, like, and like it's not like an erotic setting. It's not.
No, of course.
It's not like anything like that. It's not sleazy or anything like that. Like it's there as a professional model, just to sit back and let the artist learn and work. So it's another way of helping artists, I suppose.
That's mental.
But yeah, and then like I rent my PA out from time to time, and I do mixers with sound and stuff like that, and like those kind of cash in hand jobs kind of keep me going, like more so than the actual Smithfield Creatives.
Wow. So I need to go back to this the dude posing, because I can't get over this. So basically, what does the day look like? You show up on set.
Yeah, I show up in
and you have a robe. Like what's?
Yeah, I have a robe. Bring me flip flops, and then
you just kind of walk up
and
you
like
say hi.
I try not to speak to the people in the class, because they kind of want to have a bit of
course,
a barrier between that, so you're not as social, because then
they don't want to skew their...
Yeah, and plus you don't want to get too comfortable with them, because then maybe you would get self-conscious, you know.
I'm joking.
Well, I'm not attracted to myself, Basil, so like I'm not going to be looking at myself and go away.
Goddamn.
But yeah, like thankfully nothing like that has happened or anything like that, because like the room does be cold anyways.
But you imagine you found out in a weird way that you had a fetish for being watched and drawn. Like you didn't know. Imagine you didn't know.
Yeah.
And you just go, shit, I'm really getting off on this now.
Yeah, well then you probably wouldn't be called back.
You're just sitting there pretending like it's not happening, and you're just like, okay, it's not happening.
Like, it's not that it doesn't go through my head, like, at the time. Like, there is that kind of thing, like, I really hope that I don't stand to attention during this, but it's
if anything,
never the
for
case.
Me, I remember getting, I found a lump on my testicle, and I was getting an ultrasound. And
I remember... I've done the same myself.
I wasn't worried about getting hard. It was more like, it went in, like, you know what I mean? Like, that was my thing.
That's it. It's like,
kind of like...
it's fright, it's like, sucks it all back up.
And I think
like,
standing in front of people would be... it's like anything. So anything that scares you, there's a lot of personal growth. So I'd say, for me, I'd probably get a lot of personal growth from that, because it'll make you just think, why am I worried?
Yeah, like, because I'm in front of people all the time, like emceeing and hosting and stuff like that. Like, so
that's like taking it to the next level.
It's just another way of putting myself in front of people, you know?
It's like people have that nightmare in TV shows of, they wake up and there's no clothes on.
Yeah.
But you're literally purposely stepping into a situation where that's happening. Like, how... That does, like, you're so easy going.
But it's a controlled environment.
No, I'm not saying it's no.
It's not like I'm walking down the road naked or in an inappropriate setting naked.
But I wonder,
you know?
maybe, like, it could just be you've met someone that is very like, oh, that sounds really scary. But I imagine a lot of people would be like, that would be a bit intimidating.
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of people wouldn't be comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people I've told that have done it's like, oh no, that'll never be me. That'll never be me. But
it just adds to your persona. As in, I'm the kind of person that can stand naked while people draw me. Not that you're saying that out loud, but it's like a badge that just shows just your level of ease with life.
Well, it's down to the economy and the fact that I don't have a real job.
It's no higher fucking highfalutin idea.
This is nothing like that. This is really like a money making thing. I need to pay rent. You know?
So he's fucking get onto the Patreon. Come on. He's sitting in some room getting ogled. That's mad. And
but I love it because like the guys running the school are very, very friendly and very, very chatty. Like, and they're all artists themselves.
Yeah, it's all professional. It's all above board. It's not like the red light district.
No.
Anything like that.
Not yet.
But it is. So it's interesting that, like, in this pursuit, it's just like it's a fucking great story you're living, man. As in, like, it's just like, and then for a period of time, I had to do this. And then I did that. Like,
it's another chapter to a book that I'm never gonna write. You know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You're living it, and you're all you are. Like, it's like the art is the evidence of the exploration, but you're being like the person that you will be after this journey. Is the art.
I'll be dead.
Yeah. But just before you die, or maybe in death, you become the final piece. But it is just amazing that you're still on this path, and even though you've just been bouncing around to venue to venue.
The thing is, like, I have no plan, so therefore my plans can't go wrong.
Yes.
You know, and I've no specific path that I want to follow at the moment. So I'm just doing wherever like my gut tells me to do, my heart tells me to do. Like, I'm still playing music. I'm drumming with Graceless, which would be the main band, and then Sean Finn has asked me to come on board with him at the moment. I told him I could only do a month because I've got a lot on. It's like, well, actually, we don't rehearse that often, and we'll only really be rehearsing before gigs. It's like, well, then I could possibly do it.
Okay.
I'm also playing percussion with Dee Fitz, who's a great singer-songwriter just coming onto the open mic scene at the moment. She's doing a support act in Whelan's in December that I'm going to be playing with her. I was down doing a couple of festivals with Annette Joy, again playing percussion, kind of country music style. So like, I'm everybody's last minute drummer. So I'm not the best drummer, but I will help you out if you need me. You know, I can keep time, but like if you want something special, all singing, all dancing, go find a real drummer. But I can help you out if you're stuck for it.
Obviously has to be self-deprecating here.
Well, no, I just know my strengths and my weaknesses.
Oh no, of course, and I appreciate that. But obviously you picked up a thing or two. You know what I mean? And you need a reliable, like, people will look at Ringo Starr and say, oh, like, he was a simple drummer.
Oh, he wasn't though.
But that's what I mean,
like have you listened to the Fills in like Come 100%. Together or like that? Like, it's just so good.
And if you watch the documentary, like the Get Back, like for hours, he's just kind of sitting there waiting, and as soon as something kicks off, he just starts hitting. But he's like the core element of that. Like, he's like a bit more in the background, let's say. But just on this point, what were we talking about just a second ago? Bringing it back before the artistry, doing the stuff to keep the stuff going, then doing lots of venues. I guess, so you're doing this thing now with your partner in January, I think.
Oh, yeah, first fortnight. Well, I was just asked to help out a little bit, but this is mainly Grace's thing. Like, First Fortnight are a mental health and creative charity. They provide counselling and everything for, like, artists who are struggling within the community, and it's all free. They also do an amazing project down in Limerick where they get a lot of ex-prisoners and they put them into the arts, where like they put on a show like in a theatre where like everybody working on that show, from the lighting, the script writers, the actors, the behind the scenes and marketing, have all come through the prison system.
No way.
So in order to integrate them back into society, because like they've lived a different life before being released, and then post release, like they have no way of getting into the working market anymore. So they push them into the arts and give them like a platform to learn what they can do and like anything they can do, what they're interested in, and then put on a show, and then that will come onto their CV, which will then help them on later on in life, which is amazing stuff. They do a huge festival in January every year, because January is the toughest month for most people. It's dark, it's miserable,
Yes.
it's after Christmas and stuff like that. So they put on a festival, and it's huge. They've got so much going on. Like, they think they just put the program to print this week, so like we should have the program out soon. But yeah, the festival's going to be predominantly in Dublin, but there'll be like shows all over Ireland. There'll be shows in London, and there'll be shows in Paris as well. So it's a huge thing. So if you want to check out First Fortnight, they're based in the Liberties at the moment, but they're a great organisation.
Wow.
They help so many people through their art. Not only the people needing the mental health support, but also artists that get to play and perform. Like, they all get helped out. So it's like it's a great initiative, and they need funding as well. So if you want to help out in any way you can, just look up First Fortnight and try get involved and give them a shout out and stuff. It's a great thing. Like, but yeah, like Grace has asked me to help out a little bit, whether it be like doing sound at a gig or something like that, or else organising something like that. It's I'm a very, very, very minute role, and it's just more like a helping hand that I'm actually involved in it. But like, yeah, that's
the first time I met her was at Phil Kenny's gig, and you could already see like she was all hands on deck for it's like the little things.
That's it. Like, she was amazing that day, because like that was actually only our third date at the time.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And the guys running it, they needed a projector, and I can't remember the name of the venue, but I know where it was. But they needed a projector, and Grace was like, "Oh, I've got one around the corner in First Fortnight. I'll help you out." And then she literally went back, got the projector, and like there wouldn't have been a launch for Phil's piece, like, if there wasn't a projector. And the fact that she was able to jump in and do all that
100%.
was amazing, and then do it like full work mode.
Lad, and
I was like, I see a lot of me in you, and you just like, so we've kind of
that's what I was kind of getting at, because even on the last night I did Smithfield, Bodie is just, it's like a symbiotic relationship.
It is like it's like, again, that's probably one of the better things that happened to me in the past year or so. It's like meeting with my partner Grace, and like being very, very comfortable from the get go.
Yes,
like literally, like we just fell into it, and it's been amazing. Like we're very similar people. We both have very similar morals and goals, and like we deal with our mental health situations in similar ways. And the way I look at it is like, what will I need in this situation? I give that to her, and then she's like the same. So we both kind of like complement each other in ways, like where I'd be terrible at admin stuff, she'd be amazing at admin stuff, where I'm great at talking shite and getting up in front of a thing, and
just we're going with the flow,
so we complement each other very well and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, she's been incredible. My life has been incredible since meeting her. Like, it's been really, really nice. I am really looked out
so
there.
So beautiful,
really
when
looked
you see
out there,
people and their relationships just working out, and when they can make the other person better in a way.
Oh yeah, the two of us have like basically like added to ourselves. Because of it, like, and what's great about it is like I can take my downtime around her. Like, she doesn't suck my social battery or anything like that. Like, in fact, if anything, like, she revitalized me. Like, I even mentioned to my mum, like, oh yeah, how are we getting with Grace? Like, she can cure depression.
I don't know what she's doing.
I don't know what she's doing, but she's curing my depression. It's fantastic. Like, because there's been times over the past few months we've been together where something where it would have had a dip would have led to into a very long dip, like where it wasn't as long and it was very manageable. And it's very nice having that support in my corner, and it's nice to be able to be the support in her corner as well. So like,
and it's beautiful for everyone around you to see. Like, and it's like, I love just seeing love or relationships or partnerships out in the world, because it's not the default. Like, if you walk down Talbot Street, you'll see some horrible stories, and like good stories need to be like cherished and given reverence, because it's not the default.
But you're bad news sells, you see.
So I love
like, nobody wants to go, oh, here they are, the happy fuckers, you know.
They want to see the demise.
There's nothing to talk about there, you know. Oh, look at him, how he's getting on, it's all great, like, you know.
But life is just so difficult, and when there's bits of light shining through, I don't know, I just love gravitating that and trying to lift it up. But I think
and you're great for that, Basil. Like,
that's just my default.
That's in a way. Like, you just bring this amazing energy to any room you walk into, and it's like people are just addicted and they're drawn to that as well. Like,
100%. And I that's why the girl I'm kind of seeing now, she has that optimism in a way. It's all like, let's
do this.
Okay, this is great.
Oh wait, there's not a no.
I know.
I'm allowed to do this.
Yeah, and most of my good friends that I'm close with have that optimism, but I've never, not that I've never had a partner, but not in the last while. But I just want to go back to sort of the dips
Yeah.
in a way. And
Yeah, they still happen.
What does that mean, a dip?
Well, a dip could be anything actually, from like feeling really low or vulnerable or a high emotional state. My dips, I tend to like shut off completely, where I just stay in bed and just I barely eat, barely get out and stuff like that, like barely wash, that kind of way. And they can go on from anywhere to a week to a couple of months, and they have done in the past. Like I've like in previous working lives, I'd had to take like up to 5-6 months off work because of mental health dips. And they've been tough times. I've quit jobs over them. Like they can be really tough and really debilitating, but they always end. They always end, and you always get through them. And some people, like we've lost a great poet this year who completed suicide because of mental health dips and stuff like that. Like, and there is help out there for people, and it is tough, but like everybody makes their own decisions and whatever they feel right for them. I'll never judge anybody for whatever they do, especially during a dip. I just hope that people realise that there is love out there for everybody, and there is tough times, and you are free to choose what you do with your own life, and you do have the ability to change who you are, and you do have the ability to change your surroundings. Like I got out of a job that I knew wasn't for me. I quit drinking, I knew wasn't me. Like it's hard work, and it takes a lot of looking in and like self-development and self-awareness of your situation. I'm constantly doing CBT in my head, like with every kind of interaction.
What do you mean by CBT?
Cognitive behavioural therapy, which is basically like, say, if I came down today but we hadn't seen each other in a while, I'd be like, okay, what was our last interaction like? Did we have a good time? Was it a bad time? Did I say something I didn't say? What's he feeling about me? Like, or was something said about me behind? And I'd be like, okay, what do I know as facts? What am I making up in my mind? And what can actually work? Like, what is the real deal?
Okay.
So I have to do that a lot of times. Like recently, I was talking to like a close friend of mine, and I was like, oh man, I feel like I've no friends, man. I haven't been around in ages, and just feeling very lonely. And I feel like kind of like people are out to get me, or maybe they're not getting my vibe, or like I just feel really uncomfortable. And I was going through my head for a long time, and I was like, okay, what have I done? Like, I think I haven't really been reaching out to my friends that much. I've cancelled a lot of things that I said I would go to, and then I've been very, very busy, and I've been very, very tired. And it's like, wait, I've excluded myself from the friend group. It's not that they've excluded me.
Yes.
And then that kind of like switched to how I looked at it.
Yes.
Because, okay, it's not them.
It's not something happened
It's not
to me.
something happened to me. It's not something I did where people are upset with me or don't want me around. It's the fact that I've retracted myself from the situation, and I wasn't putting in the effort to maintain relationships and stuff like that. But I find writing very cathartic for my own mental health. Like when I've been doing very well over the past 18 months, which coincided with the giving up of the drinking. Quitting alcohol was a huge benefit for my mental health. I still get the dips, and they still come, but they aren't as long or as bad. And I'm not saying that's going to be the case forever. Like I'm pretty sure I'll have another major dip at some point in the future. Like I'm aware that I'm not immune to the lows of mental health, and I'm not immune to the highs of the mental health as well, because like you can be on such a high, it's like, oh, this is amazing. Like, so, but you will crash at some point. It's unattainable. Like my look on life is not to strive for happiness, but just strive for like contentment. Like just like, okay, like I've got a bed to sleep in. Like I've got like good friends. I've got like I've got food in my belly. Like I don't need much more than that. I'm a very simple man at the end of the day. I'm quite a minimalist. Like I don't overconsume anything. I just, once I've got like art, food and shelter, I'm happy out. Like, you know, that's all I need. And I just kind of take the things that I do have, and I kind of look around and it's like, oh, I like that. And then like I take joy in the little things as well, like seeing just something small, like a little beauty, like it's a cliche, like a nice flower growing or a lovely sunset. Like, well, like I take those moments at least once or twice a day where I just go, okay, I'm just gonna take a mental picture of this and go, yeah, this is the nice part of life. Like this is nice. Like I'm doing all right. Like kind of have to just keep reminding myself and checking in that things are okay. Like, and they're not always going to be okay. And sometimes they will be better and sometimes they'll be worse. But you kind of ever sit back.
The moments that are okay, like people. I love this one, but like when you're having like a, let's say, a bit of road rage or you're late for something, there's someone in the world that would kill to be in your situation because they're having such a really bad time. They're in a really bad situation and they would literally kill someone to be in their car with a bit of road rage.
Yeah, and like when you're having that road rage for a second, it's usually because, oh, I'm late.
Yeah.
Like you're slowing me down. But what can you do in that situation when you're late? You can just ring ahead or text ahead and go, hey, I'm sorry, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to be late. And 9 times out of 10, the person you contact and tell that to, they're like, okay, no problem, it's not ideal.
It's not reputational damage.
It's not ideal, like, but like it happens.
It's
like
the way it is.
Yeah, like
you have to just accept what you can't control.
That's it, and don't give yourself a hard time over it. Like sometimes the world's going to put stuff in front of you, it's going to be difficult. And like sometimes you think, oh, I'll just push through. Maybe don't push through. Maybe just take a step back and go around it instead.
Yeah,
and go around and it might take a bit longer. You know, you go, okay, well maybe I need a day or two just to switch off, but I'll get to where I want to go. Maybe I'm really, really overwhelmed. If I keep pushing through, which it can be good at times, is like I push through and I've gotten out of it. But sometimes like pushing through will take more out of you than it should. 100%. So it depends. Like that's why I say, like, I'm constantly like reassessing every situation in my head all the time to what's the best thing, and doing that also is mentally draining. So that's why I do like take these naps in the afternoon, because my brain is constantly going on what's the best situation or how can I do this the best way to get to the most relaxed kind of like easiest outcome. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to get the easy life.
But, what's the one with the least amount of pain?
Exactly, yeah. What can I do? What can I sort out? What's completely out of my hands? And then like, what did I just make up in my own head and what's actually truth?
Yes.
So like those kind of things are constantly reassessing everything. And I get it wrong. Everybody gets it wrong. And like sometimes you go, well, shit, like I'm fallible. Yeah. You know, like everybody's fallible. Like allow yourself to make the mistakes. Like don't beat yourself up over things. Like just go like, shit, that was wrong. Fuck. Yes. Am I going to learn from it? Or am I going to do it again? Well, I'm going to try my best to learn from it. And then maybe next time around it won't be as hard or as difficult to get through.
Yes. And just on your overall outlook, do you think because of the dips, you have that they've kind of taught you like about life?
Yeah, like it's given me a lot of compassion and empathy for others. Like sometimes I'd be like, I haven't heard from this friend from a while. Maybe they don't like me. And then I was like, wait, maybe they've a lot going on in their life. Maybe there's something that like they're dealing with, and they might not be as open as someone else to be like, oh, well, I have this going on. Maybe they might keep it to themselves. And just so I'd be like, okay, well, shit, like, all right, maybe I'm not seeing that person, or maybe they're going through a hard time. Like, kind of gives me a better outlook of like not judging anybody like on the first impressions anymore, because like they could be having a really tough day that day, and they might give you like the bad side of them, not necessarily like because that's who they are. It's just because like that day was a shit day for them and they just didn't have time for you, or they didn't have time to be talking about things the way you wanted them to talk about, because like they could be going through something. And that's given me a great perspective on how to talk to people and approach things. Again, I'm the fallible, and again, I have the social paranoia as well that everybody have, and like there's always going to be an aspect of that, but like treat yourself with a bit more kindness, and then try treat others with like the open mind that okay, not everybody's 100% all the time. Everybody goes through mental health issues. Like, there used to be a thing where like depression was a thing that only a few people got, or like mental health things was only like the small thing. But 100% of people in the world have gone through some sort of like mental health situations, and then we just have to be aware of that and accept it. It's not about being aware of it. We have to accept it as a thing. It's the same with like neurodivergence. Like not everybody you meet is going to be on the same brainwave as you, and like what you might consider rude is just the norm to someone else because like their coping mechanisms or whatever like that. So you kind of have to like take everything in as like, okay, this is a new person. I don't know anything about them. Treat them as an open book. They might have autism. They might have ADHD. They might be severely depressed. They might have some family issues at home. They might have anything, or like they might be doing great. So you might see the best part of them. So you kind of gotta take it all in, which is a lot to take in.
Yes.
But like I think because like I've got like ADHD and stuff like that, like I just lots of stuff going on and I can consume a lot.
Analysing.
And but yeah, just kind of let people be themselves.
Yeah.
And
you don't need to make, basically, you don't need to make your mind up after the first sort of interaction, or like you don't have to be like, oh, that person's rude because they just did that thing right now. It's like we summarize people, or we don't give them enough like benefit of the doubt sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like give them enough benefit of the doubt, and then maybe they are an arsehole, but like
there is arseholes out there.
But it's like sometimes like there's other reasons.
Like I got into my head there like sometime last year that like someone was out to get me within the scene and stuff like that. I didn't know who it was, but like but I had this paranoia that someone wants to take me down and blah blah blah. And then I was like, no, like, and then I was like, oh, maybe I didn't get this opportunity because of that, blah blah blah. I was like, well, no, maybe other people have so much going on. They're trying to control different situations and stuff like that. Like, and maybe they overbooked or underbooked or whatever the situation might be. And like, I was thinking in more of like a self kind of thing. I was like, oh, it must be about me. No, like they've got so much on their plate that like
you're probably not even an afterthought.
Yeah, you're not even an afterthought. Like, and whatever it may be, like they might have let you down or whatever. They might have promised you something that didn't come true, and it's like, oh, and then he's like, well, you can decide two things. Like, oh, one, maybe they were out to get me. Two, okay, maybe they had a load on their plate. Or three, like, just move on and keep doing what you're doing, you know? Like, because the only thing you can do is try be yourself and and get your things done, you know? Like,
because you got bogged down in that, and then you imagine you make it your whole mission. It's like, who's out to get me posted on your story? It's like, I'm coming for you. It's these ideas and stories. I think it comes down to basically the stories we tell ourselves. They don't have to be like, we can change the story. It doesn't have to be that way, and we can let us. Because I've had really bad health anxiety, and the loops your brain puts you in. You're like, this story is insane. Like I don't want to listen to this. Like
and when you're a creative person, those stories get really
they get so loud. But we're kind of hitting a bit of a hard out, unfortunately. But I don't know if you did that poem recently. I don't know if you know it. But the one on the dips.
Oh, yeah. That's the latest. Did you like that
I
one?
did like that,
okay,
I enjoy your poems. I said to you already. It's just, they're lovely and short and sweet, and there's a very obvious point behind them. Like, there's an obvious takeaway for me.
Okay.
And I like that,
Thank
because
you.
in between the sort of emceeing, it's like, who wants a poem? Bang! And then on to the next. So it suits the moment as well, usually.
Let's see, the way I write is different to other people I've learned, actually, because I don't edit anything.
Yeah.
Like, if I write something, it's down, and if it's good, I'll use it. If it's not, I'll delete it.
What?
Yeah, because I don't like editing, and I don't like going back over things. It's like if it's written in the moment, that feeling in that moment is then and there. You know, that kind of way.
That's insane, yeah.
And like, that's the
I get that. That's artistic integrity, if you want to put it that way.
I wouldn't say that. It's
it's
laziness.
You've decided that's what it is, or something.
It's laziness. Like, that's what it is. It's like, I'm not going back over that.
I couldn't. Anyway, I have to edit. I'll change. I'll focus on a word for so long, and it feels stupid. But when you find a word, then it's like, yes.
The only time I do edit, like, is when I'm reading them out loud or like performing them.
Okay.
So I'll edit them. I'll say, oh, okay, that didn't kind of flow as much, like, or that didn't kind of work the way I thought it would in my head. I wrote it differently than how it would sound out loud, so I might adjust it. Like, as I'm doing it, that would be like my editing.
So you write it, and then it's like, it's like a stand-up comedian. Let's try this out,
if it
and
works,
then make adjustments.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't sit back and edit it before performing right at that.
Yes.
Yeah, I did edit one thing though. I was doing shorter stories, which is run by Owen Lynham that you were talking about earlier. He runs shorter stories, and I'd written a story for Tales versus Tunes, and it's abstract as anything else, but like, it didn't land the way I wanted it to land because I rushed it. I wrote it like while at the Galway Arts Festival watching a show.
Yeah.
I was writing it during the show, and then I was milling around, so I actually didn't get a chance to actually read it properly. And then I read it at Tales versus Tunes. I actually read it down at Anne and Casey's wedding that time as well, and it didn't land the way I wanted it. And then I asked Owen, hey, can I go up and do shorter stories, because it seems like a great night. So I actually sat down and edited a piece of work, and I changed it around and I added different characters to it, and it actually went down so much better. So I was like, oh, maybe if I try this editing thing,
there's
it'd be good.
something to this editing.
Yeah, but then again, like, but that's for a different side project that I
of course
may or may not work on.
Yeah, the most important thing is don't have any hard. There's no need for hard rules. Like I say, I'm not. I used to be like this. When I first started, it's like I don't edit. Whatever I wrote is the way.
Yeah.
But then I just realised actually, allow yourself to edit. Basically, that's all I'm saying. It doesn't have to be a hard rule.
It doesn't have to be a hard rule, but like I like to keep going. I like momentum, so I don't like
that's fine.
going backwards.
That's actually fine. But when if you had said no, I can't edit it because that's the way it is. That's the way it came out that way, and that's it forever.
Yeah.
Like nothing has to be the way.
Yeah,
like
nothing is
like sacred
fixed
or
or sacred.
Yes.
Like everything changed. Everything is malleable.
100%.
Like,
and give yourself permission.
that's it. Like life changes every single day. Everything changes. The weather changes. Everything changes. Like people can change. Like you don't have to be the same person you were as a teenager. You don't have to be the same person you were in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s.
100%.
You can change who you were. You can change what you want out of life. Like give yourself the freedom to just explore life as much as you can and learn from it. Learn how to be a better person. Learn how to be a better friend. Like learn how to be a better performer. Learn how to be whatever it is that you want to do. You can change it.
100%. There's always like the second half of the story. Like, I mean, I didn't pick up the guitar until I was 24. Now I'm 33 and I'm doing a podcast with Smithfield's own Adam Kelly. It's funny how you refer to Smithfield as we as well, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. So that's kind of out of a weird complex that I have, because I don't like saying it's me.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Because like if I put it as like we're doing it, it kind of takes half the pressure off in a way. Like, and like there's so many people that have been in and out of Smithfield Creatives. Like you had the Vagabond Queen was helping out, Andy Kelly was helping out, we had Fiefs helping out, we had Grace helping out, who else? We had Luke Clerkin helping out. There have been people in and about, so there has been a we at some point, like even though like it's predominantly my baby, like but I couldn't do it alone. Like people help out all the time, whether like, but like it's strange. Like people ask me, like, so who's in Smithfield Creatives? Who are the creatives? It's like, well, there's no clique. There's no set of like 3, 4, 5 people.
Yeah,
like
the elders of the creatives.
It's predominantly me just giving a platform to anyone who wants it, and like people help me along. You've helped me along the way with my own podcast that I tried starting off with. Didn't, or you helped me out with other bits along the way, which is always.
I'm hopefully helping them right now.
Yeah. You're doing a lot of help, so it's not without help. So that's why I use the we, and it's more comfortable for me to say it.
I wasn't calling it out. I'm just like I just thought it was a nice, just something I noticed in your language. But anyway, if you do remember that poem, I'd really appreciate it.
Here.
Okay,
you have it loaded up since you brought it out.
The floor is open.
The floor is open. I'll try to. Oh no, I'll have to hold it. Huh? So this poem is called "The Dip." I thought I did it. I thought I beat this. It's been well over a year since my last dip. The last 6 months, well, they've been pure bliss. I've a great partner, the business is a starter, getting all my ducks in a row. You know the sus. I took the rest, tried my best to eat, sleep, socialise, create, work. It worked. I thought I was on top of things. Became more self-aware of my triggers, signs, and how I'm spending my time. Learned a lot about mental health over the years. From the outside, I'm living the dream. But lately, my dreams have not been my friends. I've been chased, hunted, attacked and hidden. I used to get the leave insert tremors, and now they've regressed to childhood terrors. Maybe it's all part of the processing, waking up cold and sweating, tears from the fears of running for my life. I still have hope. As I said, I've been here before. How long will this consume me? How long till I'm the happier me? It will happen. It always does. Doesn't it? That's it.
Oh my goodness! This could be the best one so far. I know I have a recency bias, but fuck, that is so good. Adam, I really appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you having me on again. And so just want to say thank you for letting me be here. Let me announce the Works Festival for 2025.
Yes,
official. If you want to make some TikToks and boost that stuff. I'm not on TikTok. Should we be on TikTok? Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments.
Should Smithfield Creatives have a TikTok account?
We'll figure out. I could basically make this video. I give you the whole. You could just chop up bits if you need to.
I used to be a chef. I'm great at chopping.
There's some good spiels in this that I think would be great. Anytime. I'm just so happy that I was able to do a podcast again because I really enjoy this format and it really allows people to let loose and just seeing you back again and in a different light though.
Back once again with the Renegade Master.
Years later and
still doing it.
It's amazing and it can take I can kind of go in and out of it in ways, but you've kept it going. Look at the hat. He still has the hat.
Well, I have the hat now because I'm growing my hair out long.
Okay.
I put a bit of a box dye in it there recently. Yeah. So the plan is to grow it out.
It's a lovely head though.
Lovely head of hair.
Yeah.
Lovely
He's got a great head. But I appreciate everything you do for Smithfield, keeping the flame alive through venues and storms and everything else, fucking posing nude. And because there's not many institutions like it, really. You've built it up over years, and the more years it gets, the more legs it has. And I just really hope you keep it going for as long as the Lord may.
I'll be doing it as long as I'm alive and I'm fed.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Basil. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.